Welcome back to All That Jam, where music has no limits. We are joined today by a seven-piece out of Philly called Snacktime, who combine the New Orleans brass band aesthetic with some hip hop, some funk, and a lot more. How we doing, guys?
Doing good. How you feeling today, Kevin?
I'm feeling good. It's a beautiful day. And when we're to wrap up here, I get to take my 17-year-old out to have some Mexican, which is always a feat to get her to come out with me. So
Mm.
you know how that is with the kids there. All right, well, why don't we jump in like we always like to with your origin story? We were talking just a second ago backstage that it was COVID that prompted the band to start, but any of you guys want to take it? How you got together? And
Yeah, so the band started in August of 2020. Basically, when COVID started, or sorry, when COVID was in the middle of it, rather. But basically, prior to COVID starting, there was an event that I produced called Snack Time with a local chef called Jen Zavala, and it was essentially highlighting local chefs and local musicians that maybe were not like the focal point. Like they weren't the head chef of the restaurant. They weren't like the headlining artists. They were just support artists and support chefs. And it was supposed to give them sort of a bigger platform. So we did that one time. It sold out. It was awesome. And then, well, then after that, COVID started a month later. So the event only had one time around. But later on that year, once outdoor dining restrictions were loosened up a bit, music was needed outdoors, and we were a band that did not require electricity, so that's how we started. And we kind of hit it really hard, played in the parks 3-4 days a week for a year, and people took notice, and things kind of snowballed from there.
there you go. And what does that put us in? What, like 2021, 2022?
Yeah, I would say that by mid 2021 we definitely started to pick up some bigger stuff, but we were playing like every wedding, every party, every birthday party, everything you could think of, we would roll up to. We would play 4 or 5 gigs a day. We would play 30 gigs a month. It would be crazy.
Nice. Yeah, any of you guys want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, at first we weren't even playing weddings. That didn't come until like a little bit in, man. We were like, I remember very distinctly playing Alicia Keys on the sidewalk because to some people that were on their porch for I don't remember what, but like those were the types of gigs we were doing, just pulling up in parks, playing on sidewalks, playing on porches, playing for kids' birthday parties who had no idea who we were, what we were playing. It was cool.
Okay, so what did the set list look like then? Were you doing covers, or had you already written some of your own stuff?
So we actually did basically mostly covers for, I would say, the first year plus of us being a band. We didn't actually have an original song until I think our first original song was written just before we had like a big festival date at this cool festival in New Jersey, and Yesseh wrote it. But we were basically operating as like a live DJ. We were rocking and rolling, playing all sorts of covers throughout the night, and just we would go for 2.5 hours straight, and just like if the song was in a certain tempo or a certain key, we would kind of read this, and between all of us, we're all really great musicians. We would all just sort of pick it up and go. But actually, to give Yesseh a little bit of shine, Yesseh is like has an encyclopedic knowledge of like so much different music. So we started, probably with 15, 20 songs. But then between Yesseh walking us through songs live, Mike knew a bunch of songs, I knew a bunch of songs. Everyone kind of like, as the band continued on, we were able to learn a lot more music as we went. So that was really helpful to making people stick around, because it was like any single day you saw Snack Time, you weren't usually going to see the same set.
Right. There you go. You say. So you brought the first song to the band. How did that come about? Was it a piece that you already had or something that you composed specifically for Snack Time?
Tell them the story.
Love answering this question because it is indeed a story. Around like April 2021, I remember catching COVID for the first time, right? And I was down pretty bad, right? I was just isolated in my home and had nowhere to go for, a week and a half, 2 weeks. So just like, man, I feel like writing. So, I was ironically, I was taking the number 2 and a song came in my head, just simultaneously. And I'm just like, man, like I felt the urge to just write in that moment. And, I felt, like a funky spirit, just come about. And, I pulled out my phone and started singing like this funky riff that I had in my head and voice memo. And I was just like, just like trying to emulate like the James Brown, the Prince, the Parliament type of vibe. And, I entitled it Gotta Get Funky, and in parentheses while you're taking a SHIT, a sugar honey iced tea. I'm not sure how much cussing we can do on this podcast, but y'all get the gist.
We can do whatever.
Okay.
Worst that happens is you two will send me a little flag and say this isn't for the kids.
It's got to be for the kids, but the kids understand. Hopefully the kids will understand. But yeah, man.
Right
So,
now, did this get recorded? I know you guys put out a single first, right, before you put out an album.
So we basically recorded an album live. Before, like, so the way it worked is that we wrote all of our original music essentially mostly in the street for this first record, like outside of Yesseh's first composition, I think, and Mike also wrote one that was through composed, but everything else basically was for the most part written and jammed out in the street. So we had a big group of music that we had, but everything was recorded in studio at a live recording session in March of 2022, and it actually was slated for December 21, but COVID Omicron came back, so that was canceled. So we have this 3-day recording session, which we did like curated food, curated wine, cocktails, 3 nights, 150 people each night. It was sold out. It was amazing. And from that record, we did release a single first, but it was all recorded at the same time.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. So, you guys obviously had road tested the stuff that you were doing, which is usually my next question. But if you had been playing it all in the streets beforehand, obviously it had been road tested there.
Yeah, that's definitely the interesting part about, like, we didn't. I don't think we had a rehearsal for more than a year. Like, I don't think we rehearsed for the first rehearsal I think we ever scheduled was before the festival called Firefly.
Okay.
And we rehearsed for this festival. We played other music festivals without any rehearsal, without any set list. Like, that was very much how we did things. But we had a rehearsal for Firefly, and that's when we kind of realized, like, yeah, we're pretty good off the cuff, but if we do a little bit of rehearsing, we could actually maybe be a pretty good band.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Girl, you want to add anything to that?
No, man. I mean, no. It's Yesseh has been pushing for rehearsals from like day 6. every single day is like, if we rehearse, we gotta rehearse. We gotta rehearse, Mike. We gotta rehearse. So it was good to actually get in the studio and like, okay, yeah, he's right. We should probably.
He was not wrong. I mean, it's funny that first recording session. Like, I would argue that we were not necessarily ready to record in December, and I think that I would say COVID maybe have saved us a lot of money because we definitely got a lot more rehearsals in between those 2 dates from December to March.
Yeah, we weren't ready at all.
I hear it. And when did that come out? The live one?
July 22.
July 22. Okay. And then you guys just, I guess, continue to hit the road. I know 2023, Philly, New York, LA, you had sold out shows at all of them. Some festivals that you hit. See Here Now, I saw one there. Sound One Sound. You want to talk a little bit about that? Did you go in the studio then? Because I know, I guess, when is February? You dropped a couple singles this year.
Yep.
Am I right with that?
We dropped singles in February. We recorded that at Studio 4 in Conshohocken with Will Yip, who's a legendary producer. and it was really cool. But in terms of the festivals, I'm sure Yesseh could talk more about those because these were some of our big, I think collectively the biggest festivals we had played, at least as like not support artists, but more so our band.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, like you said, Kev, just See Here Now in Asbury. Honestly, out of our festival run that we did, I think See Here Now was probably my favorite one, just because it's close to home, and Asbury, those are some legendary grounds that we were. It was close to the Stone Pony, and a lot of different bands and artists, a lot of legendary artists were there that day, and I feel like we really got our chance to shine, and that was our first taste of like the festival scene and that festival run. So it's just great vibes. And then from there on out, we went to LA, traveled to LA for a couple gigs out there. Did the Life is Beautiful festival out in Las Vegas, which was a story within itself, but another amazing time. But yeah, Sound on Sound in Connecticut, same deal, man. So I think just having that exposure to the festival scene, man, it just kept on propelling our sound.
No, you said that you do write set lists now, or are you still just calling out songs?
We are writing set lists now. I mean, it's funny because sometimes we might have a little bit more of an impromptu gig, which is like like we occasionally still do like corporate gigs and weddings. So for like weddings and corporate gigs, unless there's like a specific thing they're going for, we'll even write a set list, but then like we don't really adhere to it because like the band is so in tune with each other that like we're very good at flipping things on the fly, and we're very much a band that follows vibes. So if we see the crowd going a certain way for a certain song, we'll be able to adjust. But when we're playing our original music, for the most part, it's going to be basically the same set list if you catch us, because these festivals and these new markets, we really want to show them the best that we can offer. So we don't want to risk any mess ups, because I think that we are 95% of the time we're pretty good, but there's a 5% of the time where we try something and it's wrong, and it could really be not so much fun to hear live.
Yeah.
Right now, do you guys record?
Yeah, I mean,
every night.
Oh no. I feel like you take some recordings of us sometimes, right? If it's feeling good.
Absolutely. The vibe feels good in the moment. You definitely got to record.
Right.
Yeah. But mostly just like phone recordings. Like we don't have like a multi-track recording of ourselves when we're playing live.
Right. Well, my follow-up to that is usually, do you find that there's like it's different? I've had so many people tell me they walk off stage and they're like, man, we were horrible tonight. And then they listen to it a week later and they're like, wow, we really did nail it.
I don't know. I feel like I mean, the band is pretty honest with ourselves. Like if it's good, we know it's good. But if it's bad, like the first person off the stage would be me or Mike, be like, yo, that was fucked up. Like, what the hell? Like, and everyone will know. So we're pretty honest with how things feel and sound. So we'll go back sometimes and listen to a recording. And honestly, sometimes I'll feel good about something and I'll go back in the recording and be like, that was weird. But we played a lot with each other. Like, I think we've played more together than a lot of other bands have. So we're really good judges of what we sound like in the moment.
Man,
all those 30 gig months, huh? Yeah. Go ahead, Michael.
There's this one recording of the first time we played this festival, Beard Fest.
Oh, God.
And the first time, it's funny because, like, we were young. It was like, that was the first time. It was right after Yesseh wrote Gotta Get Funky. And we were playing it for like the first time live, because why not debut that at a festival? So we didn't have all our parts together or anything. And we were just, we were just jamming. And after the set, we were like, that was great. We got them going. We're amazing. And like 2 years later, Sam has a recording playing in the car, like on the way to a gig. And I'm like, this is us? This is some of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. This is terrible.
Who are these guys?
Yeah, there's definitely some recordings that are on YouTube, and I'm just like, man, but it's all part of the even Firefly. Like, I remember the first time we played Firefly, we walked off that stage and we were like, this was September after that June. So we were like, we walked off the stage. We had 1,500 people who came just to see, like, we were playing the small stage and we were like, we killed that. And I listened back to it the other day, and I was just like, "Oh my god! Like, why would they let us on stage?"
We did not kill it.
Now hold on. I'm a throw my hat. I'm gonna just say everyone, just be nice. All right, everyone just be nice. I look at it. I look at it like this. Just wherever you're at in the process, you gotta embrace the process as it comes, and it's just the evolution. It's just by default how it goes, man. It's like we grow as we go, and in the moment, we feel good, but the evolution has to be continuous, man. So I'm looking at it from a more, just
holistic,
embracive approach of the process.
It's funny because we are like one of those bands that were blessed to, like, as we worked it out, we were being paid for it. Like, and I'm not saying we were showing up to these gigs sounding bad. Like,
yeah,
most of the people were very, very happy, or we wouldn't be being brought back to these things. But I think now that we have a higher standard for ourselves and like how we produce our live shows, how we write our music, I just think it's like we're in a different position now. So people were very happy, and like, that's why we were kind of championed as like this Philadelphia homegrown band, is that people loved what we were doing. So, I think we are hard. Yeah.
Part of why you guys are making the waves that you are and doing what you're doing, though, is because you care, because you do go back and listen and say, oh, maybe that wasn't that good. You get it. You figured out, that you need to keep growing and pushing yourselves forward.
That's right.
I would guess. I'm not you guys, but
yeah, man. And I was going to piggyback off of what you just said, Kev. It's just, the process never dies, man. There's always something to work on and to improve on and just to refine, Yeah. Always.
That's
what keeps us grounded, and that's what keeps us humble. And I tell people often, like, I feel like Snack Time embodies that underdog Philly mentality in terms of always going and always pushing ourselves and just really just going hard and embracing the process as much as we can.
Somebody asked Dylan once if he ever painted his masterpiece, and he said, I hope I never do. And I was like, I love that.
Mm-hmm. I might take that one.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Nice one. That's nice.
Great poet steal. It's all right. So let's talk a little bit about Will Yip. People probably know him most from Lauryn Hill, but he worked with Turnstile, who are a Baltimore band that are just simply incredible. How did that come about that you ended up in the studio with him?
Well, something that's funny, Kevin, is that I actually think I grew up in like a big hardcore and punk background, and I didn't even know he worked with Lauryn Hill until I looked into it. I know him from Turnstile, Turnover, Title Fight, Balance and Composure. So I was always a big fan of his production, even way before Snack Time was even a glimmer in any of our eyes, if you know what I mean. So it's like he was friends with a bunch of my friends, and I just really wanted us to work with someone that may have brought a different kind of ear to what we were doing. Is we are nothing like, we're nothing like Will Yip has ever produced. So we wanted to work with someone who had a little bit different of an ear, and definitely was focused more on songwriting versus the stuff we were good at. So it was a really awesome project, and it was really cool. And it was really cool to work with someone like that. And I think it was very cool for him also, because like, I think being a different kind of band, because like, I'm not sure the other kinds of bands, like how they are performing, but like we are a band where it's like the last thing we're thinking about is the technical ability on our instrument, because I think most of us went to music school or have been playing since we were 4 years old or 5 years old. So we're all very technically proficient on the instrument. So it was like a very different kind of process, I think, for both of us. So it was really cool.
Very nice, very nice. So let's take a left turn, because this just popped in my head. You guys do the brass band thing. I don't know if you would consider yourselves a brass band necessarily, but you've embraced that tradition. How do you guys take something like that respect and honor the tradition, but add all the stuff that you guys do to it to make Snack Time what it is? How do you balance walking those lines, like adding the hip hop with it and
Sure.
things like that?
Well, I feel like the seven of us, just to piggyback off of what Sam said, just coming from, our respective backgrounds musically, I feel like with that alone, coming together as the seven of us as a full unit, I mean, we can take the music anywhere we want to, really, and we have, and you still honoring that the brass band style / tradition, if you may, but I feel like, especially within the beginning, I feel like people confining us to a brass band, I feel like, that was somewhat of a limitation to what we can do because,
Sure.
we're more than just a brass band. We have so many different just backgrounds of many different genres and many different influences musically, to where it's just like, okay, we can take it anywhere, So, and that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of
labels.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, in terms of being a brass band, I grew up in a brass band. I took my first solo in a brass band. I was in a brass band from middle school to high school in Camden. And of course there's a lot of influence there, just like being like I'm the trombone player of the band. I'm loud as who knows what, just like blasting down the Philly streets. That's like in terms of like the power and whatnot, I feel like that's where I took influence. But in terms of us, I don't even think it's so funny because we're, especially before we got Larry, our guitar player, we're composed like a brass band, like that's our instrumentation. But I don't think we played our first street beat or second line until like a month or two in. We were out there playing Lauryn Hill and Lady Gaga for the first month.
That was definitely inspired by like there's lots of really dope brass bands who have been doing this. Even if you look into New Orleans, you look into like the Soul Rebels, you look into like Philadelphia bands like Brass Heaven. There are many bands that have been doing the brass band tradition in a non-traditional way, and that's really what we kind of stood on the shoulders on, is that we wanted to play the songs we wanted to play, but where we took it a little further is we focus less on improvisation, even though everyone in this band is like a prolific improviser. We focused our improvisation in the songs that we were doing. Like we were trying to really operate as a DJ. So it wasn't about like the song was not a vessel for the solo. The song was a vessel for the dancing and the experience of the fans.
Yeah, and a lot of times we just like it's like I feel like street beat is a very important thing to brass bands, and this thing you're going to hear most of the time, even if they're doing covers, it's usually over street beat, like that's the style. But we don't do that. Austin Marlowe is our drummer, and he is very much he's a pocket guy. He's super good at it, and one of the things that we used to say a lot just is like play the wax, like play it just like the record. So learn the parts of the record, play it just like that, and we didn't really stray too much from the record. So I think that's one of the big things that made us different.
Right. Labels are very interesting. We're called All That Jam, and so many bands we have one, we'll say, what do you think about the jam band label? Because they're labeled as jam bands. And, most of them are like, I don't think of ourselves as jam bands, but hey, go where the love is,
Fair enough.
Right.
Oh my! So you're getting some love from Portugal the Man, huh?
Yeah, we love those guys.
Love them. We love them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you guys have already played with them, or it's upcoming that you're playing with them, or is it both?
Both.
So, yeah, we started playing with them back in June of 23. We were we were playing this block party for a dope radio station in Philadelphia, and we played earlier that day. We played at Brooklyn Bowl, which is next to the Fillmore in Philadelphia, and we had our own set opening up for a band called Group Love. Then we opened up for Portugal the Man later that day at the Fillmore, and in between the sound check and the gig, the music director was like, "Hey guys, like we have some horns and some stuff. You want to learn it?" We learned like 7 songs in 30 minutes, and we just did it really fast, and then it went really well. People received it really well. And then they brought us on tour from February 1st until the 28th, and it was our first tour. Our first time in a lot of new markets, and it was really special. We did a set, and then we also played with them the whole night too. So we were doing double duty, driving across the whole country, and it was really amazing. And it was such an amazing experience because the guys and the people in that band are just like so insanely kind and so nice and supportive. And it's not about them, it's about the experience, and they are just as happy to do something with us as we are with them. So it's like in the back half of those dates, we were doing a cover song that actually Snacktime sort of came up. We do these medleys, which we usually do for like different kinds of this medley actually was from something we did on New Year's Eve, but we did Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name mixed with Red Hot Chili Peppers' Give It Away Now. And for the last 3 or 4 gigs, that was the encore of their set. And like they had plenty of songs that they could have done. And I'm sure the fans also would have been glad to hear some of their songs, but they wanted to do something with us. So it was really cool. And it was a really amazing moment. So they're so supportive and so cool. And we're so excited to go back out with them.
Now, as the anthem, you guys are releasing that version of Killing in the Name. Is that correct?
It is online on YouTube right now on Portugal the Man's on their channels right now, so you can check that out on Rage Against the Machine's YouTube.
Right, nice. All right, so let's do a little bit more about the live. You have I guess 5 in May you're playing World Cafe live, and then you're also going to be doing something with WTMD in Maryland in June. What else do you have going on coming up?
We have we're going to be doing at the end of our tour with Portugal the Man. We'll be going to Louisville. We're going to be going all throughout the Northwest from Colorado, starting in Red Rocks, going all the way up to Portland with Portugal. We're going to be doing a headlining show at Bowery Ballroom in New York City in June. We're all over the place, and things keep coming up. So, it's best to just keep up with us on our mailing list and our website. But we're super excited to just be, being wanted to be brought back into these awesome markets, because it's really easy to be the big fish in the pond of Philadelphia. And, it's not easy, but we got there, and it was easy to be the big fish. But the minute you break out to these other markets, it's like definitely, you have to sell these people in 40 minutes what you sold Philadelphia on in 3 years.
Right.
So it's not something we take lightly, and it's really it's a blessing to be brought back out. So yeah, we're excited to be spreading our wings.
Is this going to be your first time in Red Rocks?
So funny story, and we played Denver last February. We played in Aspen as well. And on our way up to Aspen, we stopped at Red Rocks, and we all walked up the stairs. Some of us walked fast, some of us walked slow.
Right, it's a lot of stairs.
Feet of Red Rocks.
It was an experience because we did not know, and being that we're all brass players, we were playing up there, and we're like, oh shit, this is feeling weird. The auction's crazy out there, but we walked up the steps, and we all sort of sat there. We all walked all the way to the top. And towards the end of our visit there, we all sort of said, there's a video of it actually, which I'm sure will come out sometime. But it's like we're like sort of being like, when do you think we'll play here? And some of the guys are like 2 years. Some of the guys are like 3 years. And then me and somebody else were like, nah, fuck it, next summer. And that's what it wound up being, is that we were playing in Red Rocks the following summer from that last February of 2023. So it was a definite manifestation of our thoughts. So it's really cool. But we didn't play there. We just went to go see the hallowed grounds, and it was really, really amazing.
I hear it's the most incredible thing. I mean, sitting in the audience, I've seen Fish there a few times. I saw what was that guy's name? Blues Traveler. Widespread open for Blues Traveler once. I lived back there in the 90s, and just it's an incredible look that way. But I can't imagine being on the stage and looking out up at all the people. That's got to be just a beautiful thing.
We'll let you know when we do it.
Yeah.
Definitely, yes. All right, let's talk about the singles for a second. There's a little bit of a social message kind of together, and I don't give a damn. You want to talk a little bit about that and embracing that kind of lyric in your music?
Mike, you want to talk about Together?
Yeah, I can talk about Together. So Together, it's really just it's a song about unity, man. That's one thing that Snack Time is super big on. We're super big in the community. We love giving back. We love being around, saying hi to people, just being, I'm I'm more of a basement dweller, but when I do go out with these guys, it's cool to shake hands, kiss babies, all that good stuff, and like really talk to people, see what's going on in the community, how's everything working, and I think this song is pretty much an embodiment of that, just like the care that we put into the environment and that we wish that other people would also put into the environment, hope that other people would do and give back. What's like even the song pretty much started because of the that last lyric that we chant is, I got you, you got me, love is all that we ever need. You know what I mean? Just so that's really what it's about, man. Just coming together, being a community, and having fun. If you came to party, we'll show you how. You feel me?
It's a nice parable. It's a nice place to lay your head, that lyric and the sentiment of it. But also on the other side is I don't give a damn, the opposite of that. I mean,
well, it's not. And the thing is, it's funny that it started like that. It's funny. I don't know if people could see this, but I sleep next to my computer because I live in a 1-bedroom. So I have like a big bed that's next to my recording space, whatever. So I just couldn't sleep one night, and I like got on the computer and I started like making a little demo. And the idea with the song at first was definitely a little bit more spiteful. It was very much like all these fucking people talking shit about me, blah 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 blah. But then this song by far out of any song in the Snack Time repertoire is the one that has been worked through the most. And at one point I realized that, and I was speaking with my therapist, and I was like, this song should actually be about, instead of about I don't give a damn about all these exterior things that are bothering me, it's more about like, I can't give a damn about this. I can't give credence to all this negativity in my life, or it's going to destroy me. So the song is actually more about forgiveness. It's about the journey from more self-destructive, hateful thoughts to the forgiveness side, and being like, I can't let this bother me, or it will be the end of me. So the song is about, instead of I don't give a damn about the haters, it's I don't give a damn about any of this because it's not that important.
right. My granddad always used to tell me, what anybody else thinks about you is none of your business.
Yep. My teacher taught me that too. That's a very hard lesson to learn. And I think speaking for myself, it's one that I try to remind myself every day.
Let me, I totally spaced at the top getting you guys. Sam, you played the sousaphone, right? You say you are alto sax, percussion, and vocals, right? And Michael, as you said, you were trombone, and you also played some keys, right?
Yep.
All right. And who are the other 4 guys in the band? Do you want to give them a shout out?
Go ahead, Yesseh.
Yeah. Larry Live Nation Monroe Jr. on guitar. Austin Richard Marlowe on drums.
The Funk Tank.
Yes. I'm giving the full names. Benjamin Joseph Stocker on tenor saxophone, and Eric J. Sherman on trumpet and guitar. And
What does the J stand for?
J-A-Y.
J-A,
Oh, really?
letter J, J-A-Y, Eric J. Sherman.
You learn something new every day.
Learn something new every day.
And how much crew do you have when you go on the road? Do you got a light guy, sound guy, anybody who goes with you?
Not yet. We have one guy. We call him AK-47, aka Crew.
We call him Crew.
He's the tour manager / roadie /
Ben and I are kind of like the tour managers, and Austin's
Right.
sort of like assistant tour manager. He's the content creator. He's helping us with merch. He's feeding me mangoes when I'm driving. He's kind of a utility man, but Austin Kruchek is a brilliant filmmaker and videographer and fucking photographer, and he does everything. But he was undeniably we couldn't have done the tour without him this last time. So we're grateful for AK-47, Austin Kruchek.
Yeah, we love
There
Crew.
you go. There you go. So tell me before we get out of here a little bit about Eric Andre's 40th birthday party. I hear it was 6 hours you played a set.
Say 6
Something
hours.
like that.
I mean, 6 hours is a little generous, but it was a great
on and off for 6-7 hours.
At a certain point, time didn't even matter. Okay, but it was a great time, man. That dude is he's a trip. He's a maniac, but he's a great down to earth maniac, and we love him. And I'm just glad that we got to just build that chemistry and build that rapport with him, man. He's like family at this point. So,
Right.
yeah,
And then you ended up on a cruise with him.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was great.
We did a cruise with him. I was at his birthday party last weekend. We've become good friends, and Eric has been very supportive of everything we got going on. So all the love in the world to Eric Andre, a friend of Snack Time.
You know
Right.
what? That cruise might have been one of my favorite snack time gigs of all time. We got to bring our girlfriends. My girlfriend had a great time. It was basically vacation.
It was a paid vacation. We worked. We had some sets, but it was
Yeah.
like you had 3 sets in 4 days, and otherwise it was go be on the cruise. So it was a very nice, enjoyable time on the boat. Yeah, you say.
Stop.
It was,
When
You say fell in love on the boat, actually.
no,
nice.
didn't fall in love. I
Yeah.
didn't.
Pineapple.
I try to fall in love once a week.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fall in
It's
love.
weird. We were walking by Yesseh's door, and he had these pineapples on the door. It was so strange.
No. See, Sam put those pineapples on my door. He wanted to stir up some trouble, some unwarranted trouble that I was not involved with.
I don't know if you know what pineapples on the door means, or what if we should say what they mean.
Oh, I definitely know what pineapples mean. I know.
No,
Oh, okay.
And if you don't at home,
look it up.
look it up.
Great.
Put on the safe search.
Oh, so when do I get to hear the rest of the album?
We are figuring out as we go. We have a couple more songs to release, a couple more songs to record. Songs will be coming out as they come out, but all the songs that we record with Will should be out by the end of the year. We have lots of great new ones coming out. Right now we have Together, I Don't Give a Damn, and The High Life, which are on all streaming services. A lot of the songs are very personal to us, and they are very much very special, and we hope you guys enjoy them. They're all very different, but they all live in the same world, which is the music of dancing and community and kind of standing up for what you believe in and picking up after each other. So we love these songs. We're glad they're out in the world.
How do you find it navigating the industry these days? I mean, it seems like the industry keeps changing, and music has become what they call content now. It's like Spotify doesn't sell music, they sell subscriptions.
Yeah.
And the music is just there to get somebody to buy the subscription kind of thing. How do you guys, I mean, obviously you play live a lot and you're getting some good gigs, but do you find it tough to navigate having to be on the road all the time?
It's funny, actually. A lot of bands are in between touring. They are bartending, they are restaurants, we are very blessed that we have a very strong amount of corporate gigs and weddings and parties and things that we can get paid enough to keep us all paid throughout the year. We're always trying to get more. The industry at large, it's tough. It's very hard. You don't know what people want. People aren't signing bands based off of like the music anymore. It's based off of like, do they have a viral TikTok? What can my return on my investment be? So it's tough. It's tough to be a different kind of band, and we are very different. There's no band that sounds like Snacktime. So, we are occasionally struggling with just, being ourselves. But at the end of the day, I find that, and I think everyone else would agree with this, that if you are a person who's going to be kind and generous and just a true person, you will succeed in whatever you do. It doesn't matter if you're working in an office or if you're managing hotels or if you're whatever you're doing. If you're a good person, that is working hard and you do the right things, it's usually going to work out for you.
Yeah, and just also be smart about your business. Like it's be a nice person and be smart, right? Don't just don't. Some people are insane and just kind of do the same thing over and over again. Like, why isn't this working? Like, no, you got to like one thing about Snack Time I will say that separates us from like I don't know any band that operates like we do, because before we were artists, we were all professional working musicians. Like any one of us were good enough and we're probably on our way to being on somebody's tour at some point. In fact, some of us have been offered touring gigs with other musicians. And I feel like there's a pretty big difference between being an artist and being a working musician. Like maybe an artist doesn't know 7 Lauryn Hill can play 7 Lauryn Hill songs and Whitney Houston and you know what I mean, just popular wedding band songs, but we can do that, and we've all worked in corporate situations for years before, so we can take those skills and use them as a band, and then it'll pay our bills and finance our artistry
The next
at the
phase,
same time.
right.
Exactly.
And it's really adds to like the fact that we are all such talented musicians. Like we were at South by Southwest and there was a band called Voxtrot. They're kind of like they're an old standby of the early indie sleaze movement, like very cool. But they had just been brought back after 20 years or 15 years. And they were like, hey, we want to, you're on this thing with us. We want to have you come play. So all the horns learned 3 or 4 of their songs and we were joined in. That's like why, it's like Portugal the Man could have brought in a lot of bigger bands to help them sell tickets, but instead they trusted in our artistry, and also we were able to add our music to their music. So it's like that's one real strong benefit, is that whichever touring opportunity we get to, whichever musical opportunity we get to, they could always use us as the house band if they had to.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
No, you're good. That's it.
Oh, and one last thing I got to add in terms about managing and like moving through the industry, something that we have been so super blessed with is, even first of all, shout out to the Snack Time team, all the people that we've got on board, our managers, our booking agent, our lawyer. Like we just got a I don't know the official name, a financial manager, business manager. Like all these people are top tier people. They're really nice. They're super cool. They're all working for us and we're working for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they take so much time out to make sure that we're right and we're good and looking for opportunities for us. And before we even had all them, it was Sam and Ben just figuring out how to maneuver through the industry. And Sam, I feel like he's a smart dude, and also instinctively they just made some of the best decisions ever. Like Sam's got a lot of connections to restaurants, and he's super big in like the food industry in Philadelphia. So a lot of our first gigs were just playing with some of his like chef friends for different events and whatnot. And that like literally that got us through like the pandemic, and we made connections through that got us to be able to play like at like the Sixers halftime game and whatnot. So literally the community that we were talking about is one of those, working with that community is what got us to where we are, and making good decisions and being kind and like being sociable is probably one of the best business decisions you can make, and it's what's got us to where we are. So be smart is probably the best. Be smart, be kind, show up on time.
And I
Shout out to Allie.
Yeah, I think the true secret to all that, and I'm sorry, you go next, but the true secret to all of this is like, if you're doing something that you love to do and it's the right thing for you to do, it's the only correct thing. It's like, if you're doing what you love and you're in the right position to succeed, you'll succeed. But, a lot of times as musicians, as people, we're forced into positions where we have to do something. And believe me, it's like, it's not my favorite thing in the world to do is play a corporate gig or a wedding, but every corporate gig or wedding has the opportunity to be an amazing musical feeling, because I'm with my friends, I'm with my family at this point. I'm with my family, and we always have the opportunity to make any musical situation fun. And that's the real dream. So,
I guess I was just going to tie all of those ideas together, in terms of the business side. I hate using the term playing the game sometimes, but I guess in the business sense, I guess you got to play the game to know the game. and to know how not to get trapped up in the game. And I think good infiltration is necessary as long as it's with good intention, and that just ties into just being a good person and just being true to your craft and true to your business, and and really standing on that firmly. And good karma exists. Anything, all the good energy that you put out into the world, it'll definitely come back tenfold for sure.
I like to say, make sure your wheel spins true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
And a shout out to Allie from your team. She's the one who sent me an email. I had never heard of you guys before. I popped one. I was like, let's bring them on. This is great. Anything you guys want to throw out before we wrap up?
Yeah, I also want to, for the record, I also want to give Sam his flowers because, again, just this guy is just such a mastermind, and he is the steering force. He is the Jason Kelsey of our team. He calls me Kobe sometimes, but he's definitely the Shaq of the team too. This man drove the whole way throughout our tour. Okay, every stop, every location, every destination, this guy, he drove the RV around. He's the one that gets shit done every time. So I just wanted to publicly give my brother his flowers. Because this is definitely a beloved human being.
I love you, bro. I love everyone on this team. And what I do is not possible without everyone's fucking hard work and participation. And this is really, it's the best part about being in a band. It's like, it's hard. It's not all fucking roses. We know this. We fight, we argue, we get into disagreements, but knowing that you could trust the team that you have really makes everyone's job so much easier. Is that we could all pick up in ways that we're stronger or ways that we're weaker. We could all pick up for each other. And I think that's really the dream. And we're all artists, but we're a band. And I think a band is something that it's honestly something you don't see as much anymore. So, you see a lot of solo artists, a lot of people who are just kind of bred to be like this person, but we are a band of 7 people, 7 personalities, 7 stories that are just trying to bring that to the world. And it's awesome. I think if people want to check us out, our website is snacktimephilly.com. Our Instagram is snacktime. You can find all of our links in our link in our bio on the website. It's all pretty well to do, so you'll be able to find anything you want. We're streaming all of our new music at Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Amazon Music. You'll be able to find anything you want. If anyone has more questions for us, I always answer everything on Instagram, and I can pass through those questions to everybody. We're just really grateful for everyone who's given us the time or given us the opportunity to show us what we do. So thank you.
Michael, you want to get on the Love Fest?
I don't know. It seems like there's enough love in there. I feel like shout out you guys.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, we're going to put a bunch of links over the next day or two down in the description, so you can find these guys, and I'll put out an invitation to you guys. 6 months, a year from now, call me up. We'd love to have you come back on, do a catch up, find out what you guys have been up to. And for my viewers, thank you for watching. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow us on the social medias, and remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long. We'll see you soon.